Sometimes in life, the people we trust the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest. A word, an action, or even silence can feel like a wound in the heart. But my friends, remember this: your response to hurt is more powerful than the hurt itself. When someone hurts you, don't let your anger or pain make you weak. Instead, surprise them, confuse them by choosing strength, peace, and wisdom. The world expects you to react with bitterness, but when you respond with calmness, you shake the very ground beneath them. Because true power does not come from hurting others, it comes from rising above hurt with dignity. Today, let me share with you how to turn pain into power and hurt into healing. Silence is one of the most underestimated powers in this world. When people hurt us, the very first reaction our heart and mind demand is to fight back, to argue, to shout, or to prove our side of the story. But have you ever noticed how silence can turn the entire situation upside down? Silence is not the absence of words, it is the presence of wisdom. When someone expects you to react with anger and you choose calmness instead, it creates an unexpected pause in their heart. They become unsettled because they were ready for a fight, but they were not ready for your peace. Silence confuses because it speaks a language only the wise can understand. It tells the world, I am not lowering myself into the battlefield of negativity. I am standing on higher ground. Think of your daily life. Imagine being at work and a colleague unfairly criticizes you in front of others. Your instinct might push you to argue back, to defend yourself instantly. But what happens when you simply smile and remain silent? The one who criticized you will start to question themselves. Others watching will notice your composure and strength. Instead of losing your energy in heated words, you preserve it for more important battles. Silence in that moment becomes your shield, and no insult can pierce through it. Even in personal relationships, silence can transform pain into power. When someone close to you shouts in anger, responding with silence can melt their rage faster than your words ever could. Because words against words only add fuel to the fire, but silence brings the flame to its own end. Many times, arguments are prolonged not because of the original issue, but because neither side wants to stop speaking. But the one who knows when to stay quiet ends the cycle of hurt. Silence becomes the medicine that cools down heated emotions. In spirituality too, silence is seen as the path to inner strength. When we close our eyes and sit in silence, we connect with something greater than this noisy world. We realize that not every fight deserves our energy. Not every insult requires our reply. Just like the ocean remains calm despite the waves crashing above, our soul too can remain calm despite the noise around us. Silence does not mean weakness. It means control. It means you are the master of your emotions, not a slave to them. Daily life gives us countless opportunities to use silence as a tool. On the road, when someone cuts you off and you feel the urge to shout, try silence instead. On social media, when someone leaves a hurtful comment, try silence instead of replying. At home, when small arguments arise over trivial matters, choose silence instead of fanning the flames. You will see how quickly peace returns to you. The power of silence lies not in avoiding the situation, but in handling it with grace. Silence also gives you time. When someone hurts you, your silence creates a pause. That pause allows you to think clearly. Instead of regretting harsh words later, you have given yourself the gift of reflection. How many times have we said things in anger that we wish we could take back? Silence saves us from that regret. It becomes the guardian of our relationships because it stops us from speaking words that can never be unsaid. But silence does not mean suppression. It does not mean tolerating disrespect endlessly. It means knowing when to speak and when not to. It means choosing your words carefully and not allowing others to control your emotions. Silence is wisdom in action. It is knowing that your dignity is worth more than winning a small argument. When someone tries to provoke you and you choose silence, you are not losing. You are showing that you cannot be shaken so easily. There is also beauty in the silence of forgiveness. When someone apologizes after hurting you, you don't need to give a long speech about their mistake. Sometimes, a silent smile and a gentle nod show more greatness than 100 words. Your silence in forgiveness shows your heart is larger than the hurt they caused. That kind of silence heals not only you, but also the person who wronged you. In the same way, silence teaches us patience. The seed that grows into a tree does so in silence. The sun rises silently every morning without making an announcement. The most powerful forces of nature work in silence, and so can we. When we remain calm and silent in the face of hurt, we align ourselves with that same natural strength. People will look at you and wonder how you remain so unshaken, and in that confusion, they will begin to respect you. So, when hurt comes your way, and it surely will, remember that silence is not weakness. It is not about holding back out of fear. It is about choosing peace over chaos, dignity over insult, and wisdom over reaction. Your silence will confuse the one who hurt you because they expected you to lose control. Instead, you will show them a strength they cannot understand. And in that moment, you will realize that silence is not just the absence of noise, but the presence of power. Responding with dignity, not revenge, is one of the greatest strengths a person can develop. When someone hurts us, the fire of revenge lights up inside almost instantly. Our heart whispers, "Make them feel what you felt," while our ego demands, "Prove that you are stronger." But here's the truth. Revenge never really satisfies the soul. It may bring a moment of pleasure, but it leaves behind an emptiness. Dignity, however, brings peace that lasts forever. Choosing dignity over revenge is like choosing a mountain path over a muddy road. It may take more effort, but it takes you to greater heights. In daily life, we often encounter situations where revenge seems easier than dignity. Think of the workplace. A colleague spreads a rumor about you, damaging your reputation. The natural reaction is to create a rumor about them in return. For a short while, it might feel like you have balanced the score. But what happens after? You lose your own credibility, your peace, and perhaps even your respect in front of others. Now imagine the same situation handled with dignity. Instead of spreading negativity, you continue to do your work sincerely. Slowly, people begin to notice the difference between the rumor and the reality. Truth always reveals itself, and dignity ensures that when it does, you stand tall. Revenge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It burns you from the inside, keeping your mind restless and your heart unsettled. Dignity, on the other hand, is like drinking cool water. It quenches your inner fire, calms your emotions, and allows you to move forward. When you choose dignity, you free yourself from the chains of someone else's actions. You are no longer their puppet, reacting exactly how they hoped you would. Instead, you become the master of your own emotions, confusing them with your strength and grace. One of the most inspiring examples of dignity over revenge is seen in relationships. Imagine you are in a heated argument with a close friend or family member. They raise their voice, insult you, and expect you to fight back. If you respond with equal harshness, the bond weakens and the wound deepens. But if you respond with dignity, calmly, respectfully, and without lowering yourself, you leave space for healing. The other person, after calming down, begins to reflect on their behavior. Your dignity becomes a mirror in which they see their mistake. Revenge would have destroyed the bond. Dignity gives it a chance to survive. Dignity also teaches us patience. Not every battle needs to be fought today. Life has a way of balancing itself. The one who tries to harm you today may face the consequences of their own actions tomorrow. You don't need to dirty your hands in revenge. You just need to trust that what goes around comes around. Your focus should remain on your growth, your peace, and your journey. When you walk away from revenge, you walk towards self-respect. People may call you weak for not fighting back, but deep inside, you know that strength is not measured by how loudly you shout, but by how calmly you stand. Think of a simple daily example. Driving on a busy road. Someone cuts you off aggressively, expecting you to honk, shout, or even chase them. That's the road version of revenge. But when you continue your journey calmly, without engaging in their negativity, you protect not just your peace, but also your safety. Your dignity becomes your shield, while their aggression becomes their burden to carry. In that moment, you prove that calmness is stronger than chaos. Revenge also steals your energy. It ties your thoughts to the person who hurt you, making you replay their actions over and over again. Your mind becomes a prison locked inside the pain. But when you choose dignity, you set yourself free. You no longer waste energy thinking of ways to hurt them back. Instead, you invest that energy in improving yourself, growing stronger, and moving forward. That is the true victory. Rising so high that the person who hurt you can no longer even reach you. Dignity is not about letting others walk over you. It's about choosing the higher road. It's about standing firm in your values, refusing to let anger dictate your actions. When you respond with dignity, you protect not only your peace, but also your future. The world remembers people who carry themselves with grace in the face of adversity. They inspire others by showing that revenge is small, but dignity is divine. There will always be people who test you, who try to bring you down, who throw stones at you. If you throw those stones back, you become like them. But if you collect those stones and build your castle of strength, you rise above them. That is the difference between revenge and dignity. One keeps you trapped in a cycle of negativity, the other lifts you into a life of peace and self-respect. So the next time someone hurts you, pause and ask yourself, do I want temporary satisfaction or lasting strength? Do I want to lower myself to their level or rise above with dignity? The answer will decide whether you remain stuck in pain or move forward with grace. Remember, revenge may make you feel powerful for a moment, but dignity will make you truly powerful for a lifetime. Let God be your witness, not the world. These words carry a deep truth that can change the way we deal with pain, hurt, and injustice in our lives. Most of the time, when someone hurts us, our first instinct is to run to the world and prove our side of the story. We want people to see how much we suffered, how wrong the other person was, and how innocent we were. We crave the validation of others, thinking that if the world acknowledges our pain, our heart will heal faster. But in reality, the world is not always fair. The world is not always kind, and the world does not always see the truth. That is why the most powerful way to handle hurt is to stop seeking the world's approval and instead place your heart before God, because His eyes never miss a single tear, and His justice is far greater than human judgment. In daily life, we often face situations where people misunderstand us. Maybe at work, your effort goes unnoticed while someone else gets the credit. Maybe in your family, sacrifices you make are not appreciated. Maybe in your relationships, your love is taken for granted. In those moments, you might feel invisible and unheard. You want the world to acknowledge your worth. But the truth is, not everyone will. That is when you must remind yourself you do not need the applause of the world when God Himself is your witness. He sees every late night you worked, every tear you shed in silence, every kindness you gave, even when it was not returned. And that is enough. When you seek validation from people, your peace will always depend on their opinions. If they praise you, you feel happy. If they criticize you, you feel broken. But when you shift your focus and say, I am answerable only to God, not to people, you gain a strength that nothing can shake. People may misunderstand you, but God knows your heart. People may doubt you, but God knows your intentions. People may walk away from you, but God never does. That unshakable truth gives you the power to carry yourself with grace, no matter how much the world tries to pull you down. Think of a simple daily example. Imagine you help someone quietly without telling anyone. Maybe you buy food for a poor family, or you forgive a mistake at work without exposing the person. No one around you may know what you did. Some might even assume you are selfish or cold because they do not see the whole picture. But God sees it all. Every act of kindness, every sacrifice, every time you chose love over hate, He witnesses it. And even if the world stays blind, His recognition is more valuable than the loudest applause. Life also has a way of teaching us that chasing the world's approval is exhausting. The world is inconsistent. It can love you one day and hate you the next. It can lift you up when you succeed and abandon you when you fall. But God's gaze is steady and unchanging. When you make Him your witness, you no longer fear losing people, because you know you can never lose His presence. That gives you peace in situations where others would be restless. Consider a personal relationship where someone accuses you of things you never did. Instead of fighting endlessly to prove your innocence, you stay calm and let your actions, over time, show the truth. You trust that God knows your heart and He will clear the fog when the time is right. People may laugh at your silence, but the same people will be shocked when the truth reveals itself naturally. By not running after the world's judgment, you preserve your peace and dignity. And when the truth surfaces, it carries more weight, because it was not forced by your words, but revealed by time and God's will. Placing God as your witness also teaches humility. When you realize that His eyes are always on you, you no longer need to put on a show for the world. You no longer need to shout about your goodness or defend yourself in every argument. You learn to quietly do the right thing, knowing that the one who matters most already sees it. This frees you from the heavy burden of constantly trying to impress people or protect your image. Instead, you can live with authenticity and peace, knowing that nothing is ever hidden from the divine. There is a deep comfort in knowing that no pain goes unseen. Sometimes we wonder, why me? Why did I have to go through this? Why do people not see what I am enduring? The answer lies in trust. God sees what others don't. The world might not acknowledge your struggles, but He counts every single step you take in faith and patience. And His rewards are far beyond human praise. His rewards are peace of mind, strength in the soul, and blessings that arrive when you least expect them. So the next time someone hurts you and the world misunderstands you, do not run around trying to prove your worth. Simply remind yourself, God is my witness. Let Him hold your pain. Let Him measure your patience. Let Him decide the justice. People may fail you, but He never will. That thought alone can give you enough strength to rise each morning with hope, even when life feels heavy. At the end of the day, the world's judgment is temporary, but God's witness is eternal. Live for His eyes, not for theirs. Trust that your pain has been seen, your effort has been recorded, and your story is safe with Him. And when the time is right, everything hidden will come to light. That is the power of letting God be your witness, not the world. Replace pain with purpose. These words hold a secret that can transform wounds into wisdom, struggles into strength, and setbacks into stepping stones. Pain is something every single human being experiences, no matter who they are, where they live, or what life they lead. Some pain comes from betrayal, some from failure, some from loss, and some from the harsh words or actions of others. But what truly separates strong souls from broken ones is not the absence of pain, but what they choose to do with it. If you let pain control you, it can crush your spirit. But if you learn to channel it, pain becomes the very fuel that drives you to your greatest achievements. Every day, we meet people who carry hidden scars. A student who fails an important exam may feel like their entire future has collapsed. A worker who loses their job may feel worthless. A person betrayed in love may feel they are no longer deserving of happiness. These painful experiences are real and they cut deeply. But the story does not end there. Pain is not meant to be a permanent cage. It is meant to be a passage, a teacher that pushes you toward your higher purpose. Think of the seed buried underground. To the seed, the soil pressing against it must feel like pain, suffocation, and darkness. But that very pressure is what awakens its purpose, to break open and grow into a tree. In the same way, life's pains are not punishments. They are the pressure that activates your hidden strength and awakens your greater purpose. Consider a simple example from daily life. You work hard on a project, only to be rejected or ignored. The pain of rejection is sharp. You feel invisible. But instead of sinking into despair, imagine you ask yourself, what can this pain teach me? How can I use it to grow? Perhaps it teaches resilience. Perhaps it sharpens your skills. Perhaps it pushes you to start something of your own. In that moment, the rejection is no longer just pain. It is the spark that ignites purpose. History is filled with people who turned their pain into purpose. But you don't need to look at history alone. You can see it in your own life. Think of the times someone underestimated you, mocked you, or doubted you. Didn't that pain, at some level, push you harder to prove yourself? Didn't it plant a fire in your heart to rise above? That fire is your purpose calling. Without that hurt, perhaps you would never have discovered the strength hidden inside you. Even in personal relationships, pain can lead you to a higher purpose. When someone close betrays your trust, the pain can feel unbearable. But instead of letting it harden your heart with bitterness, you can use it as a purpose to understand people better, to love yourself more, and to set boundaries wisely. The betrayal becomes the lesson that guides you toward healthier connections. Pain in this way is transformed into a compass. It shows you the direction you need to go. Replacing pain with purpose also requires a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" This small change turns you from a victim into a student of life. For example, when you lose something dear, instead of drowning in sorrow, you may realize the purpose is to value what remains. When you fail at something, instead of quitting, you may realize the purpose is to refine your path and discover where your true talents lie. Every pain, no matter how heavy, carries a hidden gift. If only you are willing to unwrap it. Imagine a young person heartbroken after a relationship ends. The pain feels endless, like life has lost all color. But time reveals a deeper truth. That pain teaches them to love themselves more, to grow stronger emotionally, and to seek partners who truly value them. Years later, they may look back and say, if that heartbreak hadn't happened, I would never have discovered my worth. What once felt like destruction became the very foundation of growth. That is the miracle of turning pain into purpose. Pain also teaches empathy. When you have walked through darkness, you gain the light to guide others. For instance, someone who grew up in poverty may feel pain every day of their childhood. But if they use that pain as purpose, they may dedicate their life to helping others escape poverty. Their suffering becomes the reason they bring hope to countless lives. In this way, your pain is not just for you. It can become a purpose that inspires and uplifts others. It is important to understand that pain by itself does not automatically create purpose. Many people stay stuck in their wounds. The transformation happens only when you make a conscious choice. I will not let this pain define me. I will let it refine me. That choice is powerful. It is the difference between carrying a burden and carrying a torch. One weighs you down, the other lights your way. In daily life, opportunities to replace pain with purpose are everywhere. A mother who sacrifices her dreams for her children may feel the pain of lost opportunities, but her purpose becomes raising strong, loving human beings. A student who struggles with failure may feel crushed, but that pain may push them to discover a new talent, a hidden passion that becomes their life's calling. A person betrayed in friendship may feel shattered, but that pain may lead them to understand the value of true loyalty and inspire them to be a better friend themselves. So, when hurt comes, and it will, remember that pain is not the end of your story. It is only the beginning of a new chapter. Do not waste it by drowning in anger or sadness. Instead, rise from it. Let it teach you, guide you, and fuel you. Replace the pain with a purpose so strong that one day, when you look back, you will thank the pain for shaping you into who you became. That is how you confuse those who hurt you. By showing them that instead of destroying you, they awakened your greatness. Protect your peace like a treasure, because it truly is the most valuable possession you will ever have. Money, fame, and recognition can come and go, but peace of mind is what allows you to sleep at night, wake up with hope, and walk through life with dignity. When someone hurts you, the first thing they often try to steal is your peace. They know that if they disturb your heart, they have won half the battle. That is why protecting your peace is not just an act of self-care, it is an act of self-respect. It shows the world that your inner calm is not for sale, not for manipulation, and not for destruction. In our daily lives, we face countless situations where our peace is tested. Imagine being at work and someone criticizes you unfairly. The natural reaction is to get defensive, argue, or carry that anger for the whole day. But what happens? You give them power over your emotions. They disturb your peace while they walk away unaffected. Now imagine if instead you take a deep breath, smile, and move on with your work. You don't give them access to your inner world. They may have spoken harshly, but you decided that their words won't decide your mood. That is what it means to guard your peace like a treasure. Think of your peace as a beautiful garden. Every thought, every emotion, every action is like a plant in that garden. Negative people, harsh words, and unnecessary conflicts are like weeds. If you allow them to grow, they will spread and choke your flowers. But if you protect your garden carefully, you keep it full of life, color, and beauty. Protecting your peace means pulling out the weeds of negativity before they take over and nurturing the flowers of positivity, gratitude, and calmness. Sometimes protecting your peace requires silence. Not every argument deserves a reply. Not every insult deserves your time. When people throw negativity your way, Choosing silence is like closing the door to your treasure room. They may knock, they may shout, but you refuse to let them in. And over time, they realize that they cannot disturb you anymore. That is when you confuse those who hurt you. They expect chaos, but you remain calm. They expect anger, but you remain peaceful. Other times, protecting your peace means creating distance. There are people in our lives who constantly drain our energy with complaints, criticism, or drama. If you continue to allow them in your inner circle, they will continue to damage your treasure. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries, saying no when needed, and surrounding yourself with people who bring light, not darkness. It does not mean you hate others. It means you love yourself enough to not let your treasure be stolen. A daily example is social media. One comment can ruin an entire day if you allow it. A stranger's words can echo in your mind, disturbing your peace. But when you understand the value of your treasure, you stop giving that kind of access to everyone. You remind yourself that not every voice deserves space in your mind. Protecting your peace means you decide whose words matter, and you choose to focus only on the ones that uplift you, not the ones that pull you down. There is also a deep spiritual dimension to protecting your peace. Peace is the place where you meet God. When your mind is calm and your heart is steady, you feel His presence more strongly. But when your mind is disturbed with anger, revenge, or bitterness, that connection weakens. Protecting your peace, therefore, is also protecting your relationship with the divine. It is making sure that nothing and no one comes between you and your inner connection with Him. Protecting your peace also means not overthinking the past or worrying too much about the future. The past brings regrets, the future brings anxieties, but peace lives only in the present. For example, when you replay an old hurt in your mind, you allow that person to disturb you again and again, even though they are not in front of you. When you worry endlessly about what might go wrong tomorrow, you disturb yourself with problems that have not even arrived. Protecting your peace means telling yourself, right now, in this moment, I am safe, I am strong, and I will not let my mind be stolen. Even in small, ordinary moments, protecting your peace makes a difference. When someone cuts you off on the road, you can choose anger or you can choose calmness. When a family member says something sharp, you can start a fight or you can let it pass. When life throws challenges at you, you can break down or you can remind yourself that nothing is worth losing your inner balance. Each choice either protects your treasure or hands it over to someone else. The truth is, peace is not found outside, it is created inside. You cannot control what people say or do, but you can control how much access they have to your emotions. You cannot control the storms of life, but you can control whether you let those storms shake your inner foundation. Protecting your peace means standing like a mountain, firm, steady, and unshaken, while the winds of hurt blow around you. So, the next time someone tries to disturb your calm, remind yourself, my peace is my treasure. I will not give it away so easily. When you protect your peace, you protect your dignity, your strength, and your connection with the divine. You confuse those who hurt you because they realize they cannot control you anymore. And you inspire others too, because in a world full of chaos, the one who walks in peace is the one who truly shines. Forgive, not for them, but for you. These words carry a healing truth that most people overlook. When we are hurt, betrayed, or disrespected, our natural response is to hold on tightly to the pain. We replay the incident in our minds over and over again, fueling our anger, hoping that somehow our resentment will punish the person who wronged us. But in reality, Holding on to bitterness does not harm them. It harms us. It poisons our peace, it weighs down our hearts, and it robs us of joy. Forgiveness is not about saying what they did was right. Forgiveness is about setting yourself free from carrying the heavy chains of anger. You do it not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Think about your daily life. Imagine a friend betrays your trust by speaking badly about you behind your back. The sting of betrayal is real, and you feel angry every time you see their face or hear their name. Days go by, and yet the pain lingers. What is happening here? That person hurt you once, but you are allowing their action to hurt you repeatedly by carrying it inside. Forgiveness, in this case, is like unlocking the door of your own prison. You are not excusing their behavior. You are choosing not to let it destroy you from within. You are saying, I release the anger, I release the resentment, and I choose peace for myself. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as weakness, but it is actually one of the strongest things a person can do. It is easy to hold a grudge. It is easy to plot revenge. But it takes immense courage to let go of the hurt and move forward. When you forgive, you take control of your emotions rather than letting the wound control you. You reclaim your power. The person who hurt you may expect you to remain bitter forever. But when you forgive, you confuse them. You show them that they cannot control your heart anymore. There are countless examples of forgiveness in everyday life. Imagine a parent dealing with a rebellious child who says harsh words in anger. The parent could hold on to those words, punish the child harshly, and let the bond be broken. But instead, they choose forgiveness, knowing the child's words came from immaturity, not malice. That forgiveness strengthens the bond and gives the child space to grow. Or think of two friends who fall apart due to misunderstandings. Both feel hurt, but one chooses to forgive first. That act of forgiveness heals the wound and brings back years of companionship. Without it, both would have lost something precious. Forgiveness is also deeply connected to inner health. Science and spirituality both show us that holding on to anger affects not only the mind, but also the body. Stress, anxiety, and even physical illnesses can grow out of unforgiven wounds. But when you forgive, your mind feels lighter, your body feels calmer, and your soul feels freer. It is like carrying a heavy bag for miles and then finally putting it down. The relief you feel is not for the other person, it is for yourself. Daily life offers us endless opportunities to practice forgiveness, even in small ways. When someone cuts you off in traffic, you can stay angry for hours, or you can forgive and move on. When a colleague makes a mistake that affects you, you can hold resentment, or you can forgive and keep peace in your workplace. These small acts of forgiveness, when practiced daily, build an inner strength that prepares you for the bigger hurts in life. Forgiveness does not mean you have to let people walk over you. It does not mean you have to allow them back into your life. It simply means you release the poison of hatred from your heart. You can forgive someone and still create distance. You can forgive and still protect yourself with boundaries. Forgiveness is not about the other person's behavior.